Am I eligible for a waiver? This is a question that a lot of people ask. The most common situation where people need a waiver is when they have unlawful presence. And unlawful presence essentially means it could be two different scenarios. One, people who enter with a visa but then overstay, that applicant is accruing unlawful presence. More obvious one is if you enter America without a visa at all, without legal documentation, you're accruing, you have an illegal entry, okay, undocumented entry, and also you're accruing unlawful presence. Quick tip here, if you have a child that who is accruing unlawful presence, overstay their visa, and before they turn 18, and if still overstay, and you have some family members back in your country of nationality, and you're considering like, what should we do? Like maybe it's possibly no option right now, but your child's about to be an adult and they want a future life in America with legal status. The best thing to do is probably we need to talk to a lawyer about this, but probably it could be that your child who's about to become an adult need to go back and live somewhere else outside America. Of course, somewhere safe. But yeah, everyone's case is different. But a lot of people don't know that when a child is overstayed their visa, they actually don't legally accrue unlawful presence until the day they turn 18. So that's a hot tip. Hopefully you keep that in mind for the future if you have kids. Now there's several different waivers, different reasons to waive inadmissibility. Okay. Inadmissibility is a fancy legal word for grounds or reasons to remove you, aka deport someone from America. There's a whole section for inadmissibility grounds and another section for deportability grounds. So the main eligibility requirement is, do you have a qualifying relative? Now, people might think, oh, does that mean cousin, uncle, aunt? They suffer hardship, so can they count? Unfortunately, no. But we always do add in information about other family members who may suffer hardship that you help out or they rely on you to some extent. Doesn't mean like 24/7, like a nurse around the clock, but the main thing is a spouse or a parent who's a US citizen or a resident. So that's a key thing. It does not have to be just a person, a qualifying relative who is a US citizen. So we get a lot of different calls with similar questions like, I don't have a US citizen family relative who's a spouse or parent. Then we have our team, what we do is we dig in a little bit more, we investigate. Well, what about, do they have resident status? We don't want to assume that they don't have status at all. So we do dig a little deeper. So, usually calls can take a little longer, than most law firms you call in. Most law firms you call in, you ask for appointment, or you just have a couple questions. They kind of just shrug it off for some reason. We really take our time when you call in for the first time. I see a comment. Can I apply for work authorization while applying for waiver? That's also a wonderful question. If you don't have DACA already, then unfortunately, no. Okay, so DACA, of course, most people know that that allows for work permit, which is a whole other like debate drama there with DACA since when Obama created it. But in this sense, it sounds like you probably already applied for your petition. Unfortunately, you cannot apply for a separate work permit application 765 just because a petition has been filed. You would normally, when people maybe you hear people like your neighbors or friends, coworkers say that, oh, I was able to apply for work permit EAD. How come you can't? Man, they don't know your story. They don't know your situation, and you probably don't want to go in all of this detail. So, the reason most people can get it is they entered America legally, okay, with some kind of visa or ESTA, and so that way they can get that taken care of. Okay, they can apply for EAD. But for you, I'm assuming you're applying for waiver because unlawful presence, right? The other key item I want to kind of discuss here is that some of y'all think that waivers do require hardship, okay? But it does not necessarily mean that the hardship has to be right now, like actually happening right now. Of course, it would be great if there was information about it, if it's already existing, some kind of hardship. It does not have to be medical related. Doesn't mean someone has to have cancer or something like deathbed type scenario. We've had plenty of clients, applicants that we've had successful case approval of the waiver because of other things not related to medical. It could be financial. And it also doesn't have to be a situation where you have to have a child to count to say, "Oh, I have hardship because of child." Don't tell my kids that. But, uh, but I know all parents are suffering right now. More power to you, especially the single parents. All right. More power to you. Okay. I know it's difficult. Mine's in daycare right now. Thank goodness. Let's see. What else can I talk about waiver? Yeah. Hardship. So if you just have questions about it, like, you probably know you need a waiver, but you think that your resident or U.S. citizen parents or your spouse don't have hardship, they're not suffering some kind of hardship right now, there's don't think that you can't apply for waiver. Okay, so call a lawyer, immigration lawyer, hopefully one that at least focused on immigration, because some lawyers think that they need to have medical concerns. It's not always the case. A majority of our cases don't have medical hardship. So of course, if there was medical hardship, then it'll be existing right in the moment, right? But it can also be, um, I don't want to call it speculation, but we would need to provide proof. Just give you one example, like someone wants to apply for school, and some people go part time, some people go full time school after they already started their career, the first career, and go back to school. That's going to be an expense. So we add that. So even if you have not started school yet, we can show that to the government, at least a tuition rate, the schedule for that, the chart. So that's just an example. Okay, we really speak in more detail, not talk deeply, but speak in more detail. Um, we can have deep conversations. This is a great opportunity for us to get to know you and understand your life, your family, and by doing that, that allows us to help you with your waiver case. Most law firms might not think of it that way, right? We're building a relationship. We need to understand your life so that we can help you with the letter. Of course, most law firms, including us, we recommend you to write the letter first so we have a starting place. For us, we do have guidelines. I don't like to call it instructions because it feels like homework, but yeah, it's basically homework. You got to get this done to file the waiver. But of course, after your first draft, for example, it's kind of like school. You give it back to us as a teacher, the lawyer, and then we give you suggestions how we can phrase things differently. Okay, because we lawyers can't make things up for you. Okay, so if you have a situation where you're thinking like, how come my lawyer hasn't written my letter for me? That's not how it works. We don't understand your life. So the writing the letter first for you first is very important. Okay, for us to have more detail about your life. And we also have questionnaire, so it has opportunity for us to understand as well your situation, your scenarios. And let's see, someone that called in earlier this week had a consultation with one of our attorneys. He said that his family preference category, I believe it was F1 or F3, it's been approved for a long time, many years, but he was contacting NVC every year. I don't remember how he was contacting, basically to preserve the visa in the future, right? But the priority date already passed. So, by the way, I try to mention this in every episode, every show. If your priority date already reached the chart B, typically, okay, let's say in family preference at least, you don't want to wait 1 year after that, because National Visa Center, Department of State, they want to see that you have taken action on your case to preserve the visa. So why wait? So in this scenario, this person was waiting because he knew that he's unlawfully in the United States. If you leave, and if he leaves, he's going to trigger a 10-year bar. Okay, so that is the main reason you need the waiver, 601A waiver. Okay, you go on the uscs.gov website or just Google search 601A waiver, and make sure when you click on that result that it goes to USCIS government website. You can read more about it. We have a guide about it as well. Go to our website, greencardguys.com. You can go scroll down usually towards the bottom of our website. And we also have one about mandamus lawsuit, federal lawsuit, whenever there's delays, unreasonable delays. Okay, if you're new to the channel, then you need to write this down, Green Card Guys. And when you call in or schedule an appointment, the CARES team will ask you for the code. So it shows that we can prioritize the scheduling of your consultation if you share the secret code. Okay, because we get a lot of calls, so that just helps us know that you've been watching our channel and getting value. Hopefully, you've been getting some value from our episodes. All right, and until next time, please stay safe.